So now I'm going to discuss about features of object-oriented programming. So it provides several important features that makes programs secure, reusable, and easy to maintain. Okay, these are all the features of object-oriented programming: class, objects, abstraction, encapsulation, polymorphism, and inheritance. Okay. So first of all, what is meant by encapsulation? That means another name of encapsulation is data hiding. Okay, it means wrapping data and functions into a single unit called a class. Okay, and restricting direct access to data. Okay, so this is what encapsulation. So we are hiding data and function into a single unit. If you take class, it contains both data member and member function. So we are hiding that into a single class. That is called encapsulation. Okay. So next one is abstraction. Abstraction means hiding internal details and showing only essential features. For example, if you are using car, okay, so you use only car without knowing the internal functions or features. Okay, this is called abstraction. Next one is so without using you are using a car without knowing engine details. Okay, this is called abstraction. Next one is inheritance. Inheritance is one class can inherit properties from another. Okay, so as a child I inherit properties from parents. No, so this is what inheritance. Polymorphism, the same function behaves differently in different contexts. Okay, so as I am a human being or a woman, I can act as a teacher at a school, mother at home, wife or husband. Okay, so I play multiple role, but I'm a single person. Okay, so same function behaves differently in different contexts. This is what polymorphism. Next one is dynamic binding. Dynamic binding, here I didn't mention here. Here the function called is resolved at runtime. Okay, achieved using virtual functions. Another one is message passing. Here the objects communicate with each other through function calls. Okay, so here the objects are communicating with each other through the function calls. That is called message passing. So next one is class and objects. So class is the user defined data type. It contains data member and member function. I already told in polymorphism. So it's a user defined data type that contains data member, that is variable, member function, that is functions. Okay, it acts like a blueprint or template for creating objects. Okay, it acts as a blueprint or template for creating objects, that is instance. It defined the properties, behaviors. We called property as attribute, behavior as methods and function. Here that the object created from the class will behave. Okay, so object, if you take example for class, if you take student is a class, ID and names are data members, and if you display that name and ID, we call it as member function. Okay, so object is an instance of class, so it contains actual data and has behavior defined by the class. Okay, you can create multiple objects by using the data and behavior defined by the class. Okay, so this is what features of object oriented programming. So there are 8 features we have discussed: class, object, abstraction, encapsulation, polymorphism, inheritance. Another 2 is message passing and dynamic binding. Okay, these are all the comparison here I have mentioned. Okay, this is the class and objects, encapsulation, inheritance. Features of object oriented programming: abstraction, dynamic binding, message passing, modularity, extensibility. Okay, so advantage of object-oriented programming is it provide code reusability. So inheritance concept, we are using code reusability. It reduce the redundant code. Security, encapsulation prevents unauthorized data access. Maintainability, here modular structure makes debugging and updates easier. Okay, flexibility is the polymorphism. It allows adaptable and dynamic behavior. Scalability, it helps in designing complex application efficiently. Okay, so for example, identifying features, basic features applied in given program. If you take, so this is class A, okay, which is data member. So private, public, these are all the access specifier. I will explain later. So in this private access specifier, I have mentioned two variables. This is called data member A and B. Public, here I have mentioned one member function, void change value. It should not return any value. So I have taken A equal to 10, B equal to 20. So this is the class. It contains data member and member function. Okay, and main function, I have created object for this class. Okay, A is the class. I have created object here. Using that object, I am accessing this member function. Okay, so class A, class name is A. So inside the class, I have declared data member and member function. Change value is the member function. If I in main function, I have created object for this class. Using this object, I am accessing this member function change value. Okay, so this is the basic feature applied. So in the given program, so class I have covered, object I have explained, and here I have declared the data member as private. If I want to access this private data member, I need public member function. Using this public member function only, I can access this private data. Okay, so here it provides a data hiding concept. Okay, so class A, it is the encapsulation of data and methods. Access specifier private and public. Encapsulation controls the visibility, and member functions are operations that can modify object state. Object is the instance of class. Okay, so here I have given some example. Create a class called rectangle with a member variable length and width. Implement member function to calculate area and perimeter of the rectangle. Okay, this is the simple example. You can try it in with your own. Okay, how the class is created. Can a C++ program written without any class creation? Yes, you can write. Okay, so C++ program can be written without creating a class. C++ is not a pure object oriented. It's a hybrid language also, which means we can propose which means we can use procedural programming alongside object oriented. Okay, I can write C++ code with just functions and variables. It is also possible. Without classes, it is possible. Okay, that's it. Today we have discussed about features of object oriented programming. Keep working on given example. Okay, thank you.